Alright, this is how to create $1 million productized service. I'm currently in Bali. It's 5:30 in the morning. Thought that I want to make this video because there are so many people who are asking me how to create a service-based business that actually makes money. There are so many skilled people all around the world. They just don't know how to sell their skills in a way that it's expandable, it's profitable, and actually serves their clientele. So I decided to make this video because I have an agency called Editors Club. I've been working with creators like Davie Fogarty, Simon Beard, Jane Liu, Robert Herjavec, our latest client who's a billionaire, also on US Shark Tank. I just wanted to reveal how I created this service, which essentially first I wanted to make sure that it is serving a certain clientele and we are actually solving a problem for that clientele. And while we are solving it, we are profitable. And while we are being profitable, it's expandable. Meaning, when you break the service down, it makes sense for all parties involved. So this video is going to be very raw. There are not going to be fancy cuts. There are not going to be text animations and all of these things, only because I just want to pour my mind out onto this video because I know that there are a lot of people who are struggling with this very topic. Let me just have a sip of my coffee before I start. Alright, so first of all, let's figure out how to create a service that actually serves a certain clientele. I'm just going to take my agency as an example here. So what we do is we create personal brands for entrepreneurs. Why entrepreneurs is even if there's a creator, a sportsman, they essentially become entrepreneurs when they come to us. They want to create their personal brand because they either want to give back or they want to create deal flows, they want to invest in businesses, or they want to increase impressions on their existing businesses, or they want to convert, or they want to hire talented people around the world. Whatever the purpose may be, that's why we are creating personal brands for entrepreneurs. It's very important that you first identify who you are after. And then it's important to identify what issue they're having with whatever the current service that they are receiving. So what I realized is, I have been in the personal branding space for more than 3 years now. And I actually started my journey working with Davie Fogarty. He's still my client. He's still my biggest client. And Davie Fogarty started creating his personal brand long before anybody else did in Australia. And I was fortunate enough to work with him. He created his personal brand because then he can get deal flows. He can get into things like Shark Tank, which is really cool. And also help young entrepreneurs, e-commerce entrepreneurs, to be successful with their businesses. When we started creating his personal brand, his primary issue was finding a videographer who's really good at filming, finding an editor who can edit really fast and pump out a lot of volume. And then how does he justify the amount of creations that are going on to his social channels into sales? So conversions that he's after. He has a business called Daily Mentor. He gets a lot of traffic from his personal brand into Daily Mentor. So now what he's doing is he's gathering information about how much of traffic he's generating through his personal brands to Daily Mentor. How does he do it? There are tools that you can use. I'm not going to go too deep into this, but you can simply use something like Google Analytics to check how much of traffic is generated through each platform. When we are creating content for our clients, what we are justifying is the amount of conversions that they get from the end of that cycle. So if I actually demonstrate that here, let's say the conversion is sign up to the mentorship service. Let's say this is the conversion that your client requires. What you then pretty much need to do is identify what funnel that it requires to be on in order to achieve this. All right, cool. So in our agency, this is an example funnel that we are reading. How many signups are we getting on this example mentorship service? Let's say we get 100 signups per week. And then how many hits are we getting on the website? We get 500 hits on the website. That means 20% conversion on signups. And then how many people are clicking through from the videos from the content that we are creating for these creators to get these hits on the website. So let's say click-through ratio is, let's say, 15%. From here onwards, we just need to measure watch time. Are people actually watching through to the end of the video, or are they dropping off? And from watch time, we want to read click-through ratio of the video. How many people are clicking through when they see the video on the social platforms? And then here, we want to check the impressions or reach. So these are essentially all the metrics that concern us when we are creating a funnel for a client who wants to get sign-ups on their mentorship service. These are all the metrics that we have to read on a weekly basis. This is how you justify the results that you want to get for the client. As long as you are getting sign-ups for the client doesn't care how many videos we are pumping, what's the quality of the videos. It does not matter. Like the quality of the output, the frequency of the videos, they are all just metrics of this large funnel, which essentially is supposed to get sign-ups at the end. And from here onwards, the client has their own calculation for the business. How many signups do we need for a week in order to survive in this category, survive in this business, to make money with this business? As a productized service, what we are in charge of is to get this many signups on a weekly or on a monthly basis for the client, and these are the metrics that we need to be reading in order to achieve that. Now let's talk about how to create the unit economics of the service that you're providing in order to make sure that you are profitable. So in our example, we are creating content for clients, and there are certain services that we offer for each of the content. So we offer ideation, and then we offer scripting, then we offer editing. We also offer filming, but it's not a core product, so I'm not gonna put it here. Then we offer posting. I'm just keeping this really simple. And then we offer analytics. And now I just have to figure out how much each of these cost me. Let's say for ideation, for example, it cost me $40. Let's say for scripting, for example, it cost me $25. Let's say for editing, it cost me $50. For posting, it cost me $10. Let's say, for example, for analytics, it cost me another $10. Cost of service. We also have fixed costs, which are subscriptions, rent for the building, $2,000 per month. And then let's say you create 500 pieces of content per month. Fixed cost per content is $4. So you need to add that into the cost of service. And then from here, you just add whatever the margin that you want to keep per piece of content that goes out from your service, and then create a value. Let's say, for example, you want to do 25% margin. Total cost, $139. Let's say margin, you want it to be 25%. And then price per service is $173.75. Per piece of content that is produced by your service, you have to charge 173.75 cents. If you invoice this for the clients and then you get 500 pieces of content per month or per week on a consistent basis, you know that you are profitable at the moment. If you are not getting 500 pieces of content, you just have to make sure that you decrease your fixed costs as much as possible until you come to a volume that makes sense for you. You first have to do the calculations of your fixed costs to see, all right, cool, like how much of minimum content that I require in order to be profitable. Usually for productized services, there's not a lot of fixed costs, especially like rent or electricity or whatever, because you are not running machines, you are just running your computer and perhaps your phone and your camera. But you might have subscription costs like Frame.io, Notion, Slack. These are really expensive tools. So you just need to make sure, cool, like this is how much I need to spend per video or per, like in total, to create my service. And then minimum how many videos, how many pieces of content do I need to pump out in order to be profitable. And then once you cross that threshold, each piece of content is a profit, like you're just making money. That's how we make sure that you are profitable with the service that you are providing. And now how do you expand this? The way to expand this is to hire people for each of these overheads. You need ideas man, you need a scripting person, you need editors, you need heaps of editors, you need a posting guy, a social coordinator, you need a person who can check analytics, and you just need to create an organizational hierarchy. It's just easier for you to expand into this big business that you are imagining that you want to be, like $1 million business. That's how we create $1 million business. You are not going to be able to create a productized service which is going to go to million, $10 million by working on it by yourself. There are videos on YouTube of people who are saying, oh, they've done $1 million productized service by themselves, which I think is bullshit, because it requires a lot of effort, a lot of your time in order to create $1 million by yourself. Unless, of course, you're like a scientist or something, some really cool shit that nobody else can do. So I'm just gonna show you really quickly what the organizational hierarchy of Editors Club is. I'm the CEO, I handle the team, and we have a creative director, operations manager, sales and marketing manager, and then we have product owners for each of the client, who is the embodiment of the client. They come up with ideas, they make sure the scripts are written, they get the client to film the videos, we edit them, we read the analytics. The product owner does all of those things. And then there are editors, script writers, posting, social coordinators, all of these people working under the product owner. So this is how we can expand our service to service a massive number of clients, because I'm not myself working on it. I was working by myself initially, but then I realized that I crossed a certain threshold and I needed to hire people under me to manage each of the clients. First, you need to identify how to create a service that actually solves an issue, a problem for your client. And then you need to identify what the unit economics are of the service that you're providing, so that you know that you're profitable. Please calculate fixed costs in, and then until you cross the threshold with the fixed costs, make sure that you're working on it by yourself. You're not hiring any other people. And then once you cross that threshold, you can create an organizational hierarchy, start hiring people for each of the sections. It's very important to have specialists, because you are not the most skilled person in the world. You're just one person. There are so many skilled people who can do these things better than you do. Also, eventually the idea is for you to become the least important person of the organization. That's how you can leave the organization and while it's making money, and then you can go do anything that you want. Right now, I'm not in that stage. I'm still a very important part of the hierarchy, but eventually that's where I want to be as well. So I hope that makes sense. If you have any other questions, please leave a comment, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.